Hello, this is Harry, and welcome again to A Senior's Perspective with a Twist. I have a interesting topic to talk about today that should be, uh, and if you listen, it will be helpful to you concerning seniors. The topic that I want to talk about is questions that you should not ask seniors. Yes, I said questions that you should not ask seniors. So, what do I mean? Well, let's start off by talking about what's going on in the world today. In the world today, uh, you got people that once they find out your information, your personal information, uh, they tell, whether it be good, but especially if it's negative, bad, they tell it to somebody else, whoever will listen. They talk about your personal information when they really shouldn't have been privileged to your personal information. Um, TV programs are good at this. They got these shows on, especially the ones about uh, male, female, man and woman, especially young people getting together, and they have these shows where they sit and get interviewed, and the most juiciest details of their lives are divulged on TV in front of uh, whoever's sitting there. There could be a group, several sets of couples, and the question is, are they going to make it? So, in order for these shows to thrive, a lot of juicy stuff comes out, what the world considers juicy details about someone's life comes out. Um, and so they tell all of someone else's business when they find out. Again, you say, where are you going with this? Well, let me give you another example. When I was a young fella, single digits in age, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, maybe 8, and I was sitting at home when our, uh, our home had a visit. I don't remember. I think there were several women that came to see my mom. Women back in years ago would visit, and they'd sit in the parlor room or the front room and chit chat. And some kind of way, I found myself present there. And I remember one of the women started to ask my mom some personal questions. And one of the questions that she asked was, how old are you? And my mom was guarded about different things concerning her person, like age, weight, whatever. And the woman asked, how old are you? My mom didn't answer. And me, being a bright youngster, being smart, highly intelligent, and not only that, willing to answer questions that others haven't answered. Boy, did I learn a lesson that day. The lady asked the question, my mom didn't answer, and I decided I'd answer it for her. And I told my mom's age. I don't even remember if I got it right. But all I do remember is a hand, whoop, backhand, came across my face, across my lips. Like that old saying Fred Sanford used to say on Sanford and said, I think it was him, said, slap your lips or something like that. My mom backhanded me. I learned a lesson that day. And the lesson was, speak when you're spoken to. Nobody had to tell me. There would be future times again when I was sitting with friends that came to visit my mom. And she didn't have to say a word. I knew, because I wasn't going to go through what I went through the last time. And you know what? questions were asked by some of them women. I was like Fort Knox thereafter. Had a lock on my mouth. I shut up. I didn't say anything because I knew what would happen if I opened my mouth. Uh, that kind of example. I'm just saying the thought pattern needs to be in people's mind today. So, questions you should avoid asking seniors. What are they? What are some of these things that people ought not to ask seniors? Um, young people, if you're listening, if any of you are tuned into this video, take note. Because even if they don't backhand you, they'll have a different opinion of you. You asked the wrong question. But these questions that sometimes people ask, it's like intrusion. It's meddling, and there's are some things that I have no business knowing about you or you about me, unless I decide to tell it. Unless the senior decides to tell it. But avoid these questions. One is, are you getting old? What? All you got to do is look at my hair. It's no longer black. I used to have a whole head of black hair. Mustache was completely black. Beard, same thing. It's not like that anymore because I've gotten older. I'm a senior. And with being a senior should come a certain amount of respect that you have for your elders. Are you getting old? Another one is, when are you retiring? You know, since I've taken the status of being a senior, I remember when certain things were not said to me because my hair wasn't gray like it is now. I wasn't as old as I am now. And I didn't get those questions. I've been called an old man. I don't feel like an old man, but I'm going to face it. I am. I'm over 50. If you're over 50 year old, you're no longer what we call a real young person. 50, if you're 50 and up, you're a senior. Some of them say 55. But if you're 50, you're young 50, you're a young older person, but you're still old. You're not farther along as the one that's 60, 70, 80, or 90, or even higher. When you're retiring, what business is that of yours to know when a senior is retiring? Another one is, do you need assistance caring for yourself? Now, I can understand if the person's laying on the floor. I can understand if the person's got an oxygen mask on. I can understand under certain circumstances like that you might ask that. You certainly want to help somebody who looks to be in distress. But when people don't look to be in distress and you're still going to ask something like that, do you need assistance caring for yourself? Be careful. There are some circumstances where you do ask that. I understand. I'm not ignorant. But too often you got people who are just too bold, who are emboldened to ask certain things that's none of their business. You say, you're getting on younger people. Well, if the shoe fits, wear it. And even those who are seniors and they approach another senior, my question is, didn't your mama teach you about proper etiquette? About meddling with other people's business just because you're curious? You remember what happened to the cat? Curiosity did something to that cat. Some people will tell you off when you ask the wrong question, just like pushing a button. There's certain questions that don't need to be asked. There's certain questions we should not ask a senior. Another one is, do you remember what happened yesterday? I've been asked some questions, some bold questions by people. I'm going to get to one of them shortly here. But do you remember what happened yesterday? As if that person has dementia. Uh, I, again, know there are certain times when you ask certain questions. But our society has come to the point where you don't have to exhibit no signs of dementia. You don't have to do anything like that. You got some folk that are just bold, meddling, sticking their nose where it don't belong. Another one that people want to ask: are you afraid of dying? What kind of question is that? Because they're older? And that's the only reason you asked it, because they're older. Well, don't you know there are some young people that are here today and gone tomorrow? Young people in their 20s, 30s. But you didn't ask them that. They didn't know they was going to be leaving. So just be careful how we talk to seniors, our questions. We should be really comforting them, knowing that they are older, further along in their years, and no one knows how long they have. I had a relative, one of the youth in my family, asked me, I don't know where they got this from. I'm thinking they had to come from their parents. I'm thinking, I don't know. But they asked me, was I dying soon? And it had to do with property. It had to do with some material things that I possessed, that they wanted to know how soon was I leaving, so maybe they could get a hold of it. And I was taken back at first. And I said to myself, the gall of that youth asking me something like that. I said that in my mind. But then I thought, they're young. And I wasn't overly upset about it. At first, I was just taken back that they would say something like that to me as a senior. I don't remember how many years ago it happened, but it did happen. And it was in my family. And it was youth. Very young person asked me, am I dying soon? Well, I'm hoping no. And you'll have to wait to get your hands on whatever property I do have. Another one is, are you still driving, or can you still drive? My phone, it's lighting up right now. But we need to be careful. And this is across the board. It's not just applying to young people. It also applies to senior, from one senior to another senior. Be careful the questions that you ask other seniors, but especially the youth. Be careful what you ask seniors, because a lot of time it's just curiosity. It's just meddling. It's asking, invading someone else's personal privacy with your curiosity. And if you don't want to get told off, because there's some seniors, you ask the wrong question, it's like pressing the wrong button, and they will tell you off. They will tell you ain't none of your business. Matter of fact, you better tend to your business, and call you a little young whippersnapper. And didn't your mama teach you anything? That's things we need to take note of. Be careful what you ask a senior, because some things are none of your business. Some things you don't need to know. Some things, if you knew the information or the answer to the question, what would you do with it anyway? When it's none of your business, when it's not wise. If you ask, maybe, can I help you with something? Maybe that would be the better thing to ask a senior. Is there anything I can do to help you along? Is you got groceries you need? Your grass need to be cut? There are a lot of different questions, better questions that we can ask seniors if we just think, before we start talking. Just think first before you ask a senior a certain question that none of your business, that you shouldn't be asking. Okay, I'm done talking about questions that you ought not or that you should avoid asking a senior. I say thank you for watching. I ask you to subscribe if you haven't. If you have comment you'd like to make, we welcome your comments as well. I say thank you and have a good day.